Ready to get into it?
Push the button.
Push the button.
Well, hello! Once again, you have found a Texas Steampunk Connection, broadcasting to you throughout the multiverse Steamverse from our various bunkers and airships. With me, as always, is Thax, Gentleman Adventurer.
Hello, hello.
With me is Jack from Steam Chest.
Hello.
And we have with us today Master Blue Stocking from Steampunk Dollhouse podcast. So once again, we are here to talk, probably about steampunk, most likely, because that's what this is about. Thank you for listening to the Texas Steampunk Connection.
All right, and we are back.
You're here.
What was that?
Huh?
What?
Dude!
I'm gonna start doing like smoke signals in the dark room here.
You're just kind of cutting in and out a little bit.
I don't know why it's doing that. It should not do that.
It hasn't been that before. That's kind of...
Yeah. I may go have to crack the door open to make sure my router gets in here. That might be the problem.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I know it sounds stupid. Exactly.
I understand the technology about as much as any of us.
I push a button. Yeah. Push a button and make it work.
All right. Yeah, no, there's some weird voodoo goes on, bouncing radio waves and shit. And I don't know. It's just I can pull a lot of mumbo jumbo out of my butt because I've been part of the IT culture long enough that sometimes you just have to come up with something to make sure the customer's like, oh, it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, confuse them with lingo.
To keep the server going. Sorry about the interruption.
Dazzle them with bullshit.
Exactly.
So today is May 3rd. Today is Flavio's birthday.
I was not aware of that. I had forgotten.
I saw Erica's post. Yeah.
So that's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually that meant it was Free Comic Book Day. The comic book companies I think,
they still do it. Yeah.
This one day of the year they give out free comic books. The particular print of a comic. Every comic book company has a stack of different comics that they give out. Yeah. And Flavio gets very excited on his birthday. Sorry, can't go party with you. I got to go to the comic book store for my free comic books.
I mean, he had his direction, and that was what was important. Maybe we'll get the comic books. It's like, you know what? I'm going to get a beer. Let's go to the comic book store. That sounds like a party to me.
He was a collector. And, I mean, this comic, you could only get it on Free Comic Book Day. So he had to. Yeah, you
had no other choice. I don't see another choice.
Dedicate yourself to something you love.
Here I have with goggles on. It's sitting in front of two other nerds.
So what have you been up to that you love? Anyone?
Well, I have found this wonderful, glorious cider that is delicious.
I have had that. That is good. Yes.
Yeah. The berry, the crackberry. I think I've had this prior, but I found another can of it in the back of the refrigerator going, hell yeah! I'm drinking night.
I was at the local grocery, and there was a representative from Bishop Cider trying to promote a new cider they had, which I don't know what was, because I'd already picked up a 6-pack of crackberry. He says, "You want to try our new cider?" I'm like, "No, I got this one.
I have my crack mix. We're good. I don't need another flavor."
Yeah, they serve that at the beer garden where I've been studying. They have almost always had that. I think it's one of the most popular ciders that they have.
Man, I want to study at a beer garden.
They have good Wi-Fi and they sell coffee, and yeah, it's a really good place to study.
closest thing we had to a beer garden was a laundromat and bar in one, right off campus.
I mean, you got to do something while you're doing laundry.
It was a fantastic idea. It just, I think it needed better management.
Oh, I just realized Erica brought home another Bishop cider just this week called, what is it called? Masmosa.
I've had that one too. It is so good.
It tastes just like a mimosa,
Yes.
which
It
is to say
excellent.
I hated it
Oh, we know.
because I don't like champagne, and
Ah.
it's just like
Mhm.
champagne and orange juice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
So-
really is.
I salute them for accuracy.
Yeah, that one is really good.
Thanks, I hate it.
Well, I can't like everything.
That's true.
I think the one I had today, I think it's Bishop's. It's a watermelon cider. It's either
Oh.
Bishop's or Locust. It was really good. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't like super sweet. It was very good. Yeah, they have everything up there.
Oh, they're right outside of Dallas, aren't they?
Bishop, are they?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
We may have to go up there before we go over to Steampunk November and just raid their reserves.
At 509 North Bishop Avenue, Dallas,
Ooh.
Texas.
Wow. Have we heard if Steampunk November's going off this year? I haven't seen any updates, but I also have been kind of in and out.
I've heard
been
they
having
tried.
work days.
They're having work days?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know that was part of the problem
They-
last year. They couldn't get enough people for the work days.
Yeah, and they pretty much called it like 6 months ahead of time, going, "We're just not doing it. This is bad timing. We're still not going to be
Yeah.
doing it." But now I believe that they're actually looking to be on schedule this year. I'm
I hope
taking
so.
it. I don't care. If I'm going, I'm going. If I'm not going, I'm staying home and dressing up in my hat and whatever.
That's what I did last year.
Well, we'll go do something in Austin. I don't know. Maybe we'll meet up in the middle and do something all together. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be Waco?
Mm,
I don't wanna go to
Yeah,
Waco.
I
Temple.
would rather go all the way to Dallas than stick in Waco for anything. Not to say Waco's a bad place. It's just, it's a place of travel. You go through
It's a-
Waco.
Pass through.
Like, I lived in a place like that. It's called Midland. It's a different place. Now, what was it? Which convention was it that's out that direction, but it's not in Waco? Not in Finicon. That's up in Dallas. I have to think about it. It was really cool because it was on a college campus, and so one of the we were holding our lecture inside of the word is escaping me. The Star Room with the planetarium.
The planet.
So
Planetarium.
we were in the planetarium.
You're
So I got
talking
to-
about, I think you're talking about Geek Fest
yeah, Geek Fest.
in Killeen.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Hi. Yeah, you good?
I think they've recently had to change their name for legal reasons.
Yeah, something happened and they changed.
Somebody
their
else was
name.
already using Geek Fest, and even though the university had been using it for some years now, I don't
You
know,
got
they
the-
caught up with them or something. Oh well.
Well, I have a name. If anyone wants it, it is under a limited liability company, and I'm willing to rent out the name of Steam Jest for the name of the convention for a small minimal fee. So
Uh-huh.
you know, I'll
Steam
think
Jest Con.
Always grifting.
I need a bumper sticker that says that.
Grifter's gonna grift.
Grifter's gonna be great.
Coffees for closers. Who's talking? You drinking anything tonight?
I am on the Angry Orchard. Cider. It's what I
Oh.
had in the fridge. Yeah.
Two ciders in a row.
Yeah.
No, it's just cider time. It's not. It's weird. It's almost warm, but it's not. It's weird. It's muggy. I don't really want a heavy beer.
It's
I mean,
chilly
I'm
up
drinking
here
it.
today. Yeah, it's weird and
I-
dark and kind of chilly.
We got a little rain this morning.
Mhm.
I'm told. It was after I got to work, so I didn't see the sky for 10
Oh,
hours.
no.
Back to the steel reinforced booth. He's one of those guys that has to sit there and get the code from the president if he has to launch code, the launch codes.
Oh, one person has to swipe in before the other one can swipe out.
Yeah. And that's just going to the bathroom.
Feels that way sometimes.
Over.
Well, congratulations, Blue Stocking, on finishing your last class.
That's
Even though the school's not finished, you still have homework somehow.
No, that was a class. There's just an elective class I was taking, but my exams, my comp exams, I've taken the first one, and that was not great. But I'm taking the second one this Friday, and then I'll have the oral exam next week, and then hopefully I'll move on to my dissertation. Which, by the way, I'm decided I'm doing my dissertation as a podcast. So I am very excited. There's if you go to mygothicdissertation.com, Dr. Anna Williams, she was the first person to do that in 2019. So yeah, I talked to my advisors already, and they're like, yeah. So yeah, my dissertation's going to be a podcast. Yep, super excited.
Is it going to live stream? I guess.
Because I still have to write the text for everything, so it's still going to be full. It's probably going to be, I think, 10 episodes, and I'll drop once I'm done and I'm graduated and I'm Dr. Elizabeth Hedrick. Then I'll start.
Wow.
They'll have their own feed, and I'll drop them out that way. But yeah, no, they'll be building up over the year as I'm writing my dissertation, because I'll have to turn in chapter by chapter. So
now you need to make sure you update your steampunk thing to be a doctor, and you have to flaunt it at every point.
Well, I won't graduate, hopefully, until I will be doctor as of December 2023.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's like forever. Man.
It is.
4 semesters we get to write our dissertation. So
see,
I mean, if we go over, if we have to go over, we can. But I'm trying to get this wrapped up as soon as I can. So I'm tired.
It is feeling kind of weird with the fact that here you are doing all this schoolwork, saying I have my last classes, but I still got a year to write everything I've ever learned and put it into some cohesive, fact thing.
That's the exciting part.
Versus just go through with a little thing going, yep, she hit limit count.
That's the exciting part. It's actually writing it. That's why I've been. What I've been wanting to do. I'm finally getting to that part of it. So, yeah.
See, that's why you're a very different person than Jack or I. Like, you want to do that it gets you excited instead of just being an absolute horror that I would take it for. Oh God.
I get to write about books about libraries. It's very exciting.
I get to write. Wait, say that again.
I get to write about books about libraries.
Instead of libraries about books?
No, books about libraries.
Yeah, so I guess the Library of Congress is going to be your longest chapter.
You get to write about books, about places where they keep more books.
But they're like infinite libraries, or libraries that control the world.
So
it's all an allegory for people who don't support open education.
Oh.
There's a hook there. Is that the villains often sound like the people who don't, real world people who don't support open education and open access. That's I'm analyzing and examining the two. It's all about open education.
Into the Vatican's library. I want to hear all about it.
I would love to visit that, but I do not have the scholarly credentials because that takes a lot. They don't let many scholars in there. It's hard to get in.
No, they don't let hardly anybody in there because they have a whole thing. They have a very strict way of things need to be. Sure, I guess perception of reality for everybody. Who knows? They may actually have the devil house in the basement.
There could be anything in there. And Thax, what fancy thing are you drinking?
The dog.
Well, what I see what the dog is drinking.
Well, I didn't get the memo about the cider. So tonight I am drinking one of my favorite rums of all time.
Goodness.
It is called Old Monk.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It is not expensive. It's imported from India.
Oh.
And it is a very like sweet molassesy flavored and scented rum, and I like it a lot.
Drinking it straight, no chase, no ice, no mixers.
Not today. Not today. There's
Wow.
the reason why you can't put it in mixers. It's not a highfalutin kind of,
He's just high pirating it right now.
I see that.
but I enjoy it straight. And it was with easy reach as I was trying to get all my things together to.
What can I grab while I'm sitting here?
What booze is closest to my hand? Which is what I've been saying all week.
And what haven't I got to talk about on the show lately? So, yeah.
Very nice.
Nice. Good.
Right.
And let's bridge. Speaking about what we're talking on the show.
What are we drinking? What do we want to talk about tonight?
I thought you wanted to talk hats.
I do.
I didn't know. I mentioned that a while back. Let's do hats.
Let Max talk about hats.
I got notes. I got all kinds of things I was
Take it away, brother.
cramming. So yeah, I want to talk about hats because I have too many, and I want to get more. Well, I don't want to get more. I just want to be more interesting with my hats, and I've found that to be a block. I'm not a creative. I'm just sort of a builder. And Jack always has some interesting hats, and I thought it would be a good place to just, start. What kind of hats are ideal for building into your steampunk costume? What kind of hats were rather worth avoiding or aren't necessarily historically accurate, or do we even care? I don't know. Most of the time, I suppose we don't care. Find a hat you like, you wear it.
Yeah. Make it work.
But so yeah, I was doing some poking around on the internet recently just to see, what hats are really good, and what can you do to a hat to really bring it up. Everybody knows about a good top hat, although they're kind of hard to find. There are a lot of YouTube videos on how to make a top hat out of either
I bought a top hat at Wild Wild West Con, and it only hits two places on my head: my forehead and the back of my head, and the whole hat sits there going like this. Now
that doesn't fit good.
That doesn't fit good.
I will admit now if it's kind of on the back of your head a little bit more, and it kind of like does the little weird flippy thing, but I will admit I thought a top hat was gonna be cool, and I have pictures on my Facebook. You can go find me wearing the top hat. But then you notice that Lex tends to wear the top hat more often, and even then she's finally said, "You know what? We're done with the top hat." I have it sitting over there in the corner right now, going. It was just not a good hat, and I paid like $80 for it. It's a very nice hat. It just does not work for me.
Oh, yikes!
And
that's
I went back to
a lot.
Yeah, I was looking forward to wearing the top hat, thinking it would be really cool that Jack has a top hat. And then my wife was like, "Yeah, I get the cowboy looking hat," and she hasn't gotten that hat yet. This hat probably going to be buried with me, or I give it to the Indiana Jones thing and like hand it to the sun. I don't know. Yeah, the moment in that movie where Shia LaBeouf picked up the hat and then Harrison Ford grabbed it and said, "Not today." I'm just like, yes, good. Don't need Shia LaBeouf playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I've seen that movie once and I blocked it out.
That is hat etiquette. You never touch another man's hat.
With that said, I have a friend who's very much a cowboy hat guy, and I as a joke, his girlfriend stuck his hat on my head, and he walked out of the bathroom and he was pissed. Like I thought I was gonna die. And he's like, "You don't do that." And I'm like, this man's like. Usually, I have a hard time understanding that most of his humor is "I'm going to die" death humor. But this next time was a serious time, and it was bad hat etiquette. So, but yeah, no, I think. Well, I'll stop and I'll let you get back to your thing. But top hats are very specific, and I think before you go out and buy a top hat thing, it is the perfect thing for a steampunk person. Go wear one. take pictures, sticky note, like photo edit it on to make your head look like, let's see if it even works. Because top hats are very much a specific thing. Like, you can wear a top hat. That looks good. I like it.
It works.
I think you, regardless of what hat you're talking about, you can't order it online. You need to try it on.
Yeah, you have to.
Because I know for me, I have a big fat head. And so I need a hat that's going to work like that. And I've been lucky a couple of times, ordered hats from China where it's cheap, and they've been okay, but it was a risk. I realized that it was a risk. So, yeah. Interesting that you should bring up the cowboy hat, because I found, and I could be wrong, I am not an expert on hats, but it seems that the modern cowboy hat is not a turn of the century hat at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more recent. Yeah. I don't know the history, but I know it's not period accurate.
It actually developed from the fedora. It's because it's got that same fedora brim, and then the
just longer.
Yeah.
It just got larger and more swept. So if you wanted to go with a fedora, that would be closer to accurate. But even that, in the late 1800s, was considered a woman's hat. And it came from a French actress who was in this play. Her name was Fedora, and it was sort of a masculine-looking women's hat that was sort of, thumbing her nose at gender roles. But it was not a man's hat at the time. It was a woman's hat, and later became more in fashion for men.
The Zoot Suit riots, I think.
So I guess that would be like 1930s.
Zoot Suit, right? Yeah, 20s and 30s. Yeah.
Did you know that was a big deal in El Paso, of all places?
I did not.
In El Paso. Yeah, I didn't know that. In LA, it was like, no, Zoot Suits are big here. I'm like, I don't see. What? No, that's not how this works. You can't steal history. But no, apparently it was a big deal in El Paso. I just had no clue. So a good TV show for looking at hats of exact period. It's on Paramount Plus right now. It's called 1883, and it is
the Yellowstone
Oregon
prequel. Yeah.
It is the Oregon Trail story.
Yeah.
And it's Sam Elliott and the cast is I don't know. What's his name? Tim McGraw and his wife actually play the other main characters.
Oh, I didn't know they were in it.
They are fantastic. Like, I understand, like, the chemistry that goes on there between them is perfect. Like, I would not have known that was Tim McGraw to begin with, because I don't know it like enough. I've seen him on stage, actually. I've been to his concerts, because what else do you do in San Angelo, Texas, when a big, you go to see whatever music guy is coming through. But everyone has a hat. Everyone has a hat, and they're all unique or some sort of head covering. I think it is honestly a wonderful thing to watch, and I'm glad I watched it. We're watching it right now for this very moment, because there's a scene where they're in Fort Worth, Texas, and it hasn't changed much. It's still very much the same, except the traffic's a little different.
A little.
I mean, it's just as busy, if not busier. But everyone has a cool ass hat, and I think it'd be a wonderful thing to watch, just because not everyone's hat was perfect either. Like, everyone had like something slightly worn hats.
Well, they were used.
They had little nick and nucks. Like, even the guy you see on screen for like a second had a very unique hat. I had to keep pausing to look through it. Like, a lot of thought went into these people's hats, and a lot of it was, and even if the thought was, screw it, it's just barely passable. Throw a headband on it. It's broken. And the guy wore it to the, and it made sense why he had it. And no, I think it was perfect.
I'm just looking at a few of the pictures there. I do see a lot of cowboy hats right after I just said they weren't historically accurate. But again, whatever. That's okay, I guess.
I mean, they still had hats. They just weren't traditional.
They are not the traditional. They don't have the triangular top and the holes in the side and all like the
right. Right.
They're all mainly felt. This is a leather hat. You don't see, well, you see some hide hats, but the leather hat's very rare, and which makes me really wonder when leather hats became a thing, because they're really not good to get caught out in the rain in. So, and I need to
And they're
reseal
hot.
them. Yeah, and they're horribly hot. No, this is not something I like wearing in the middle of August in a Texas convention, unless I'm indoors enjoying a very cold air conditioner room. But I will do it, and I will sweat, and I will look very authentic.
But you were very correct in saying that not only in this show, but in the period, at least for men, you didn't go outside without a hat on. That you
Yeah.
always had to have a hat.
And you don't wear hats when out of style? I had to look this up. Allie was right. Air conditioning killed hats. The moment indoor air conditioning came along, you didn't need a hat anymore, because it just became completely outstyled, and it's one reason it's mainly killed the hat.
That's funny because you shouldn't be wearing your hat inside
That's
anyway.
yeah, that was what I was thinking. You shouldn't be wearing your hat in
Because
inside.
most people wear it for shade anyway, but these days we dart out into our car,
Yeah.
and we don't need a hat in a car. We'll dart into a building. We're only barely ever out in the sun anymore, unless you're in a job where you're outside. Then what are you doing? You're wearing a hat, mostly a hard hat
Yeah.
or some sort of hat. But yeah, we're not out on a horse for the entire 17 hours the sun is up, or however long it feels like the sun is up in Texas in freaking August. What if they never set?
Blue stock. That's where that hat etiquette comes in again. You're right. You don't wear a hat indoors for the upper class, for Europeans, and
Well, and for men, I mean, women
on the
did.
West. But as you move more western into the U.S., and it's more of a rough and tumble man's world, if you will, that whole taking off hats thing indoors sort of goes out the window.
Yep. If you take your hat off, you may not get it back.
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
on
no.
you.
But there are some good options instead of a cowboy hat that are worth considering. The bowler, obviously, is something you definitely see in the period and in steampunk.
Yep.
Classic. Yep.
And this whole brim that's sort of turned up like this. Another hat called a Hamburg.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Very much like a bowler, but it's got the wedge in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to do it with this one, but that became popular in about 1880 and stayed in popularity through World War II. Also, I wasn't able to tell the difference, but apparently these are two different hats. The bolero hat or gaucho hat.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all modern now, they play a lot of fast and loose naming with hats. What I could tell you, it was a flat crown and a wide brim. If you watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Blue Eyes, the bad guy, had that black flat hat.
That's actually the hat I went out looking for. I wanted that hat for my character because, I mean, I couldn't get a Darkwing Duck hat, which is like freakishly fantastically huge. That is the cartoon. Between that and Indiana Jones is the whole reason I wanted a hat as a character. But yeah, I wanted the flat top, black, straight out like this, evil ass bad guy hat, and it's hard to find. Now you will find some going into New Mexico towards Tombstone because that's just kind of part of the history, and that's kind of just stereotypically. So I found a couple and I tried them on. They just don't fit my head. It looks weird. The moment I stick it on, it doesn't stay round. It kind of does weird things with the brim.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and I've seen some of them. Again, modern websites that have more the sweeping cowboy brim, but it's still got a flat top.
Yeah,
and they look good too. I don't know if that's what makes the difference between bolero and a gaucho hat, or if there's another name for that. But at some point you got to go close enough.
Yeah, I think that's probably what the Spy versus Spy characters wore those hats. And yet again, another massive, sarcastically large hat for characters in our past. But I don't know. Hats really make a character. So much so that I've joined another like RP group, and it's for like a space thing, and they're like, we have a guy who uses Unreal Engine, and he's like, just tell me what you want your character to look like. We'll do some things. I'm like, I just threw him a picture of me, and he got me looking
Wow.
more like if I was Thor wearing the hat, long ass white, like blonde hair and my beard. But I mean, it looks a lot like, you can obviously tell it's me modeled. And
You as Thor. I see.
I didn't pick that part. He's just like apparently now a 7 foot tall like dude who looks like he should be riding like a Harley should be riding another Harley. Amounts of manliness. I'm like, all right, we'll go with this. I like this direction. Give me a cigar or something, and we'll go with that. But the funny thing is that the hat is what stuck out to everybody, because everyone else was doing like the space helmet and all that stuff. But here's my character wearing the exact hat, essentially without the goggles, because he couldn't figure out how to animate or stick goggles on it yet. And so it's just one of those things of now everyone instantly recognizes the character and makes fun of it with like little, like, anytime I pop up in the chat or something, I say something quirky, they put the little smiley face with the cowboy hat on it. And it's a little like, haha, yeah, we marked you. So hats are very easy for people to, I guess, symbolize you, or at least figure out, all right, you're that kind of, that's your mentality. That is your character. You fit your role, or you set an expectation of a role. So I roll in, and I can just say some sarcastic crud, and then all of a sudden everyone knows that's the character. It's the hat. And I think that's very important. If you think of your hat as, if I take this off, I'm not the same guy. But the moment the hat's on, I'm Jack. And it's just, even mentally speaking, I can walk in, I put the hat on, and my kid looks at me going, oh, hi, Jack. You shut the hell up and get back to work. Get back to your school. I don't know. It's a personality mentality trait. I like it. It's kind of like putting on a mantle. And
I think that's why hats are important, especially for trying to establish your character, your costume, and looking at different options for hats and what they can do for you is important. That's why this conversation, I think, was worth having.
It immediately establishes where you stand in society, what's your job, how much money you may have, if not put towards looking good or not, or if you're just trying to be efficient because you don't like the sun. It says a lot about you immediately, and it is the first thing that everyone sees, is because they look you down. They look for eyes, and the hats are big enough that your eyeballs will bounce between taking you in, and so it's interesting how hats can shape someone's perception of you right off the bat. Big hat means you're taking up space. Your hat kind of says more intellectual, and just kind of, or thinking you're intellectual. I mean, I don't know. But it goes well with your hat. And of the period when that hat was popular, it was very much a thing people wore. Fine, it's kind of popular for an era of, it says something. So, but newspaper hats are very popular and have always been and will always will. And
for those who are listening to the podcast, I've been swapping out hats a lot. But I am wearing,
very stealthily.
I currently just threw back on a flat cap, which sort of looks like a baseball cap, with the front has just been extended over the brim. Think about golfers or
Newsies.
Like 1910 car drivers, right?
Oh,
the car is brand new, and what's the name of that great American novel? I can't remember.
Great Gatsby?
Great Gatsby, absolutely. Yeah, that car driver. I even think that Sherlock Holmes in the newest creation, the movies. Sherlock threw on one of these for driving around with his goggles
Yeah.
on.
The motoring cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually have to turn it around backwards or it'll fly off. But yeah. So yeah, this is another appropriate hat. I don't see a lot of these in steampunk, but it suits. Or you could go with a newsboy cap, which is kind of like this crossed with a mushroom that sits on your hat, your head.
Those are very popular for women. I've noticed. At least they, at one point in time, like
Early 2000s, they were
late 90s, late
super.
2000s, they were big. People shoved their hair up into it, and it kind of does the whole like rollover thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had a couple. I don't really do them now, but back in high school when I was in my neo-Victorian phase, and I wore my long dresses and my granny boots. This was early 90s. Lots of hats. I had so many hats. I had like the black straw, which is kind of like the bolero. I had the black straw hat with the flowers on it, but I couldn't wear them to school because our school wouldn't let us wear hats in the school. But whenever I went somewhere, out, I would toss on one of my hats. I wish I still had them.
But with that said, were you like, because you had so many hats, especially at a young age, how do you do you think you were like just testing out like different types of personality?
Like I said, I was in this very neo-Victorian thing. So I had the granny boots, long dress. I would wear gloves. I had, little bat. Yeah, my mom made me a cloak when I was in high school. I had an oxblood red cloak with a black satin lining and a hood. My mom, she very much encouraged the Victorian thing. So yeah, and the hat was part of the outfit. So I would have, the hats that would match my different long, flowy, dresses. Yeah, and it was very much a part. It was very much a part of those outfits because it all worked together as a piece, and I was very put together. But obviously, I wasn't wearing what everyone else was wearing. So yeah, those were real important.
Not everyone else is getting a
Molly Ringwald.
Kind of I did have a Molly Ringwald hat. Yeah. I had a couple, but like I said, this was the 80s, and we were wearing a lot of hats back then. I had the first hat I got was because of New Kids on the Block, so I had one of those black. I got it for Christmas when I was 12 or 13. Yeah, I loved that thing.
So that's what's cool about women's hats for steampunk. All the hats we talked about now, a woman can wear them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
They totally fit women just as easily as men, and probably look better because
women are super cute in top hats.
Mm-hmm. I do know a couple of women who look better in my hat than I do. So
that's reason to wear a hat as it is.
Right off.
Use it as a flirting device. Yeah. Rita posted, I have a new short top hat that I really like, and yeah. She's absolutely correct. I've seen it's like a little short crown instead of the tall one, and it kind of has a Western look to it too. If you want to play it that way, those are good hats. But women also have like the derby hat, the really big brim that with all the or the garden hat like you were talking about. I don't see a lot of bonnets, but that's an option.
No, I never had any bonnets. I have seen a few bonnets at steampunk events, though. I think I saw a couple in Lincoln when I went to Asylum. Yeah, so some people do bust those out. That's a commitment, though, because you've got to style all your hair around it and get it on. Yeah,
I've worn a bonnet, but I was in costume. I was hiding. So.
Okay, you went from costume to hiding.
Well, I was playing as Jack, but I was hiding to get away from the constabulary. So yeah.
Nice.
So bonnets work for what they do, and you get to say cool things like, "By my pretty little bonnet, I will end you."
There you go.
These are important things. Got to have quotes ready to go with your hat.
And yes, Rita, fascinators, absolutely. Fascinators are so little tiny, and you pin them in. Yeah. I think I had a couple of those too. I had a big hat collection.
Like all the hats we talked about, but a third the size.
Yeah.
In your head.
Yeah.
That's just technically.
Yeah.
Or they call them a tiny topper, or just the tiny hats. Those are so cute.
We actually took those out in Steam Test a while back. like a couple of years ago, we had some little hats that we stuck in there, and they were cool. They had like these like. So I think Lex added something to where you had like chopsticks that went through your hair, and there were like little loops in it to hold it. So it looked really cool.
Aw.
And
Yeah.
there are a lot of YouTube videos on how to like make them out of either craft foam or cardboard. Um, there are directions how to make full size hats out of these things too, but I shy away from those because you get kind of humid under your hat, and I'm afraid, well, the foam board the foam is just going to get really hot. You think leather is hot, and the cardboard is going to get mushy.
Yeah.
But for making tiny toppers, it's perfect because they're not really holding any heat in.
Yeah, you're not sweating into it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Um, and then there's straw hats, which is say any of the styles we talked about. If you can find it in a straw hat at a reasonable price, get it.
Yeah.
Especially now because it's about to get real hot.
Yep.
One of my favorite hats outside of this one was heck, we just mentioned those little tiny. It was a white hat. It looked like the hat that Belloc wears in Indiana Jones. We talked about him already. I just can't come up with the name of it or what we talked about.
There's
Go,
Panama
Google.
hats.
Huh?
A Panama hat?
No, it is a heck,
I don't
really
remember.
tiny brim on it, named after the lady who was wearing them in the
Fedora?
It was a fedora, a white fedora with a black band, and I picked it up because the villain from Indiana Jones had one. I love that freaking hat. That was such a great hat to wear. It was white. It was cool.
Yeah.
It kept the sun off you, and then like in Midland, I wore like an off-white overshirt with and so it worked out really well for the area of the world I was in at the time. And it looked, I stood out like a sore thumb from everybody else wearing, ratty looking baseball hats covered in all sorts of earth goo. But
Ew.
what do you think oil is? It's earth goo. Like putrefied ancient ocean. Is that a better word for it?
Animal bones.
Earth. I mean, it's whatever.
Black blood of the earth.
Brutal.
Earth lube. I don't know.
You never seen Big Trouble in Little China?
Long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah.
It stands up to time. See it again.
It's time.
Not for the hats, though.
Yeah.
So we've covered basic overview of kinds of hats you can play with. Then what do you do to, make them unique, give them a style that's steampunk, that's not just, I picked this up at the Walmart, now I have it on my head. For women, to me, it seems like there are a lot of options. It's a lot of fun. You kind of can't go wrong. You add some feathers and lace or fake flowers, draped fabric, all kinds of good stuff. Glue some gears on it.
Hey, call it steampunk.
And you can make something pretty amazing. What I have a problem with is doing the same thing but keeping it more of a masculine look. Adding ornaments and gewgaws, it gets a little. It seems more appropriate to a feminine look, and Jack is really good at pulling this off. What's the secret? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so part of this, I'm gonna reach out of corner here. I had this actually made by one of my friends, Courtney, and this is actually not my favorite version of this. I had one that's in my pictures you'll see on Facebook. It was
so you're holding up a floral wreath.
It's a and it's on one of those hair thingies. So if I took this off and stuck this on my head, I would look kind of dorky. But just a little,
I mean, I like it.
Pretty princess.
I mean, there's that. However, men can wear flowers. It just depends on how you do it. And I like this. I stuck it like this as a joke because they wanted to put flowers on me, and all of a sudden, it actually works.
I like it. I think it works.
And I want to do another one of these, but with the oranges of autumn again, because I wore it at Steampunk November, and it just fit. And
orange flowers, not oranges.
Just oranges stuck to
oranges
the clementines just stuck up there.
everywhere.
See, with women's hats, you could do that.
Stack.
You could, yeah. Just
Now-
have a little free play.
So that looks good. Flowers on men's pants works well. You can do it tastefully. I recommend it because a lot of men are immediately wouldn't do it, and it's very unique.
It'll catch
Now-
the eye, yeah.
Now, other things I've done is my goggles are completely unuseful at the moment because I just have all sorts of stuff stacked attached to it. But it keeps it from all falling off my hat. And so I have chopsticks for flare, which stick out of my hat, which look really, really cool and useful because I've actually used these to eat at conventions. I wash them first. However,
Good.
I've also found all these little pins. Everyone's got pins to give away, and we've done this too. These are like some syrup of zombie and rattlesnake extract, and then my plague survivor badge that I have here.
So
And
your
I'm just-
pieces of flair.
my pieces
Basically.
I put them on my hat band essentially, and my tribble, and my Star Trek badge, and then
Oh.
the steampunk. Mick might notice this. It's you get this at Greek Gods Giggling, and it is like a keychain thing we've done before. And I stuck it on my hat. It flaps around with the Steam Chest logo on it. Looks really cool. So I think it's all about kind of what you want to project as a person with your flair. And I was not expecting flowers, but that gives Jack a little depth of he's not afraid to look pretty. And people appreciate that, especially the women, which is fantastic because it's like 80% of the people he wants to impress anyway. So,
I guess that's the trick. Being bold enough to not be afraid to look a little pretty,
yeah,
but still be manly.
still look manly.
Got the confidence.
Adam Ant, for example,
Yeah.
You gotta have confidence.
You
to
gotta
pull
have the
off-
confidence,
he's
yeah.
got makeup and froofy outfits and tight leather pants, and women love him.
Yep.
I couldn't do that. Nobody wants me to do that.
But if you
That is a
can
very
do- if you can
specific
feel
look, though.
confident about it, it's actually very impressive. And that's kind of the thing is that make it work. Put a flower on, and you'll notice that people will compliment the flower, even if it's
Oh, he's dead. He's gone. Jack, come back.
Oh no. What if he
a
realizes
little
he's
fake
gone?
horse
Or
off.
he's
Make it
there. He,
fit. And then
Are you there?
you okay, Max? Max Headroom? You're just kind of coming in and out.
Oh, kids today don't know Max Headroom.
They should.
no, they should. They should go look that up. All of it's on YouTube now, so there's no reason that they should not know Max Headroom.
Are they on
They also
YouTube?
made fun of Max Headroom a
whole
lot
series?
in the first game.
If you haven't seen Max Headroom lately, it'll blow your mind.
It was. I mean, for, back then.
It was prophetic in many episodes. Not all of them. Some of them were just out of left field. Like, this is weird. But then there's others that are like,
Yeah.
This is.
It was a
I can
great
see the
show.
future.
Yeah. Yeah, that show
5
was
minutes into the
bananas.
future.
And it's so purely 80s too. Just
Oh, yeah.
everything about
Yeah.
it is just
The fact that he had to carry his camera on his shoulder out into the wilderness, like that camera is enormous.
No wonder your president had to look good. We had portable television sets on your shoulder.
weird times, man.
Okay, that's
Okay, so
getting
yeah.
off topic. I'd love to
The-
talk about that at length, but
That'd be for another episode.
The confidence level, that's what matters. It's just
Yeah,
know.
if you pull out flowers and you do it confidently, people are going to be like, them some pretty flowers, son. You'd be like, they damn sure are. And all of a sudden, their entire like trying to pick on you is just out the door. And it's funny because you're kind of putting a target on you, but as long with flower, like I've done this with the flowers, and people have tried to make fun of me with it, and jokingly, not hard. I'm not going to say it was anything that wouldn't be hard to get past, but it was very much one of those things of they made fun of the flowers, and I had comebacks for it, and all of a sudden it was better. So it's kind of one of those things of be prepared for part of your gear.
You
if
gotta
it's
be ready.
a little much, then
You gotta be boy named Sue ready.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wear it with pride, and as long as if it's something that you're comfortable with and that if it makes you happy, that's gonna be apparent.
What's with the flowers?
Huh? Yeah, as long as you're comfortable, rock it.
Yep.
Add some flowers to your top hat, man.
Go for it.
Like a little spray on the side, maybe.
I mean, probably an entire like little airship thing that spins on their hat. I've seen door that opens on the front and has the bird come out. I mean,
yeah.
So,
a friend of mine. I haven't seen this hat, but she made like an entire carousel going around her head on a hat.
Nice.
How heavy is that? Oh my god!
I have no idea, but who cares? I think it probably looks awesome.
Makes my neck hurt just thinking about it. Good lord!
You want to project something with your hat that projects something. I'm sure. Projects back pain.
At a thrift store or dollar store, she found a little toy mechanical bird that sung, and its little mouth would move and its head would move, and she totally built that into a hat. She put a little nest
on
the hat.
So cute.
Little ornamental eggs. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Hats can be overly sarcastic. Make it happen if you want to. Or
she made one with a plate with a lobster on it and some butter. What else did you put on the hat? Slice of lemons. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, was this for Steampunk, or is this just something that she did?
Oh, for Steampunk. Okay. For Steampunk, I think. I don't know.
Well, sounds like she's having a good time.
You want to look at when it stick out, Do a nun convention with that on the side, whatever.
That's why I think women's hats are way more cool. Especially like, if you're going to go with a big derby hat, you've got a lot of acreage to work with.
Oh, man. And Kremlin weighs nothing.
Well, yeah, but you still have to bolster it up. I mean, if you're putting that much landscaping on your hat, you're gonna it's gonna need some structural support.
Yeah. So I guess it just comes out. What do you want your hat to say about you? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Are you an architect? Have like the whole freaking what I can't come up with the opera house.
Flying buttresses.
Flying buttresses, the hat. There we go.
Hold that sucker up.
It would be really funny if you had like someone with really long braided hair and had it like standing up, and the whole hat sitting there like built around to hold the braid.
Actually, guy I dated after my second marriage broke up, he was a punk. He had a blonde mohawk, like the real, and we went to a company party, like a formal event one time, and he got it was a cheap top hat, and he cut it down the middle so that his mohawk came up out of the hat. Yeah, he was so excited. He was like, I've got this idea. And he bought this cheap top hat. He's cutting it out, and yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. Yeah,
sounds fantastic. It's like a rooster hat.
Yeah, it was.
I may have to do that. I mean, I have to just have like an addition thing that adds to my hat. A rooster top.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. We're gonna get you a mohawk.
Oh, I barely have the hair left. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Nonsense. Start growing out your mustache.
Man, when I was in a band and we were gigging downtown, there was this club that the booking guy for the club, I was younger. He was probably about my age now, maybe a little older, but he was definitely losing his hair very quickly in the back, but was really trying to sport a mohawk.
Nope, that's not going to work.
Holding on to youth so desperately. Oh, nice
Especially
guy. Nice guy.
if he's using the Elmer's glue to put that thing up, though, he's going to lose even more hair. I mean, it's brutal putting together. Because I would comb it out and do the blow dryer on him because he'd lay on the floor with his head on a box, and I'd comb it out with all the glue and blow dryer. Yeah, it's a production.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that qualify as a hat?
I think it does, because with by the time you're done putting that much glue in your hat in your hair, it's considered to be something very structural. I mean, Lex actually at one point had a massive red mohawk. I didn't know her at the time, but I've seen pictures, and she has it's tall. It's like 2 to 3 feet, and it's got the top piece that flaps down like this. It looks like really very much a rooster, and I'm like, nah, I still dated you. Be fine. My mom probably would have had some things to say, and it would have been very nice, because she just does not have the ability to, up until recently, to like say negative things about people. She'd be like, "That's very unique." Good for her.
Bless your heart.
No, she's not much of a bless your heart kind of person, but yeah, no, she would find some positive thing to say, because she was she was very much beaten in with the idea that if you can't say anything, if you can't say something nice, you don't say anything at all. But she always had something. She'd always find something nice to compliment it. But which I think is where the bless your heart kind of thing comes from. At least the next iteration of.
It's kind of transparent at this point.
Yeah.
We're all on the inside joke of that one now. It's gone, but it'll have to mutate to the next step.
Yeah, you got to be more subtle, or maybe you didn't intend to be. I don't know. But your mom is clearly a classy lady.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, by the way, it's Mother's Day this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
For those of you who need to know that.
There's a Victory Cup Derby Day bash in Fredericksburg.
What?
Being held by the Fredericksburg Polo Club. Since we're talking about derby hats.
Oh.
Fredericksburg has a polo club?
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Fancy.
I found this on Facebook mostly because it had hot air balloons. And I think showing up to hot air balloon festivals in Steampunk is perfect.
Yeah.
You will get so much good reception and good attention for that sort of thing. You will have a great time if you go to a hot air balloon festival like the Fredericksburg Victory Cup Derby Day Bash in your costume. It is great.
I bet the beer would be pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And wine, right? Fredericksburg
It
makes
should be
wine.
Fredericksburg, yeah. Lots of wine. So much wine.
See, here's what we need to do. We all need to meet down there for Oktoberfest, and just project from down there for that weekend.
What's that week? I may be going to Salem in October, so
nice. I think it's actually in September or it's November when that actually happens. I can't remember. It's weird. It's based on like a wholly different. I think it's like some sort of church calendar. I don't know.
I think so, but I'm not, because I've seen them sometimes in September and sometimes in October. So
I think it's just whenever they can book it. You know?
Yeah, there you go. There's truth.
That's when you get the whole town involved. All right, nothing else. No quinceañeras. No birthdays. No, nothing can be in the way. We all got to make sure it's enough room to drink and not have to worry about anything else. To eat. A lot of eating. Because I need my Spätzle.
Well, we're hitting an hour, unfortunately. So
We've only scratched the surface.
I know. I miss you guys. We don't do these enough.
Oh,
But, let me thank our patrons. So they're helping us keep the lights on, or really helping us continue to host the podcast. So let me thank the Dowager Duchess Claire Bear, Jenny and Ryan Shaver, Kitty Vinson, who just finished her last week of Sherwood Forest for the year, and Rita and Lawrence Allen, who are listening right now. I know. Thank you guys for helping us out. Your contribution is letting us continue to do this and not go broke.
Very thankful.
If you're listening to us and weren't aware, you can find us on Facebook at Texas Steampunk Connection. You can email us at texassteampunkconnection@gmail.com. Our podcast is hosted on texassteampunkconnection.podbean.com. And thanks to Blue Stocking, we're on Twitter at TXSteamConnect1. I feel like I should be thanking Elon Musk at this point, keeping us on Twitter. And Jack is keeping us at YouTube and Rumble through the Steam Chest subscription box. Our music is brought to you by Zapsplat.com. Okay, I've gotten through all the things we have to say.
All the necessities.
What?
All the necessities. What we should do is like record that and like speed it up real fast, like a little chipmunk thing where you can just like.
I don't want people to hear the important bits, especially the people who are,
If you put it like 140%, we just sound like the chipmunks. And it's hilarious.
I can do that through Audacity. I might try it. All right. Do you guys have anything else we want to throw out there for everybody before we go for the next 2 weeks?
Next 2 weeks? Well, definitely we can talk about more hats. Maybe we should find something sarcastic about hats to share.
We will be back with more hats.
More hats.
I love hats. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time,
Mind your gauges.
mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges.